Hi everyone, Phil here. I've just been speaking to Régis Le Bris at the Stadium Light for his press conference ahead of the Bournemouth game, so I thought he'd bring you a quick update. This is take 2 because it is severely windy, but I can't be bothered to do take 3. So if there's a big wind interference, I apologise. I'm sure you won't mind too much. The big news, the really good news, is that Le Bris did confirm that Romain Mundle is basically back in contention for selection. So he played 45 minutes in an under-21s game last week and scored. He's been in full training for a few weeks now, and Le Bris basically thinks he's as good as ready to go as he's going to be. Doesn't mean he'll be in the squad, doesn't mean he'll be involved. Obviously, as you saw last week, Chris Rigg not even in the matchday squad. Le Bris has got loads of options at the moment. It might be that he gives Mundle a bit longer, but he's essentially in contention. That's obviously a massive boost. Really exciting, dynamic player, and someone who's going to be key during AFCON, so that's a big boost. Dennis and Leo Yelder also been playing the under-21s recently. Le Bris also kind of said they're very close. However, he wants to give them a bit longer to basically to get up to full fitness. So they're not going to be in contention this weekend, but their return's very much on the horizon. Loads of chat, as you'd expect, about the system today, the back five. I know it was a big talking point kind of after the Fulham game. Le Bris definitely saying that at some point they will revert to a 4-4-2, that he's really pleased to have the options, that he's really flexible. I think it was pretty clear he didn't feel that was the main issue. I think he felt that Sunderland's energy and the intensity wasn't quite right at Fulham. He said at times it was good and we were able to limit Fulham, but at times it dipped, and it was that lack of consistency that hurt them rather than the system. Talking about how generally he doesn't feel it's a defensive formation because he's always pushing an extra player into midfield anyway on the ball. Obviously, the counter to that is generally when you do that, it's a defender, and that obviously doesn't give you the same, I guess, creativity or quality sometimes in possession. So I think he was pretty clear that he's not kind of wedded to the back five now. He's going to rotate. Whether it'll be this weekend, we'll have to see, because one of the big points he made is we have to keep our strength, and that is Sunderland's defensive ability, and that was a key message. You can't underestimate a Fulham, you can't underestimate a Bournemouth, and so I'm not convinced he'll move away from the back five, certainly not from the start this weekend, but it's an interesting one to watch, but clear that he wants to use both systems moving forward. Interesting as well, really effusive in his praise for Bournemouth, talking about how they're a real kind of example for Sunderland in terms of how they've built a team and progressed over the last 4 or 5 years to the point now where they're regularly competing for sort of top half of the Premier League. But not just in terms of like what they've done off the pitch, but also talking about the specific style of the team, the energy they've got, how physical they are, and how dangerous they are in attack. Clearly someone who, a head coach in Andoni Iraola, and a style of player that he really, really admires and that he hopes to develop something into time. So yeah, loads of really interesting stuff. Sunderland Decker website will have loads of quotes over the next couple of days.